It's a second line day, and what a second line we've got. This is gate 28. The second line is called Shaking Hands with the Devil. The first line is trying to figure out the odds in introspection. The second line only wants to win, and it doesn't care what the odds are. In shaking hands with the devil, you just want to make sure you win. The second line here is only interested in winning. When you look at initiation, which is part of the individual process in the 2551, there's a deep competitiveness that lies within the individual nature. And it's mirrored here in this second line. The projection is that I have to win. If I do not win, if I cannot take a risk and gamble, life is not worthwhile. And this can lead to depression. The lifetime learning says distasteful alliance. And in the exaltation, we have a means, however unsavory, that is justified by its end. When the game turns to a struggle, the intuitive acceptance of any alliance in order to win. So remember, the 28 wants to know that life is of value. If the devil comes to you, knocking on your window, calling you out, and asking you if you would like to be the world's greatest opera singer, if that would give you value and make your life worthwhile, yeah, well, maybe if that call feels correct to you, you will get something that does make your life worthwhile, and the devil will get your soul. So both sides are happy. The second line doesn't actually know that its life isn't of value. It's only aware of that when somebody calls it out. And the moment someone calls it out, the second line's taking a risk. Yeah, they're taking a risk that the person who is calling them out can actually bring value to their life. The unsavory alliance in the lifetime learning is simply the fact that the second line doesn't know who's going to call it. And they are going to learn that not all alliances are of equal value, if they're of any value at all. Anyone could knock on their window, yank them out of their solitude. Anyone. This is the only thing about second lines in the design. You know, it's something that is really important to educate children about. It's that discernment. Because every second line is a window in you that everybody else can look in. You know, somebody out there is looking into the 28 too and saying, oh, I can get this one to take a risk. Just by looking in their window, I can see that they're ready to take a risk and they don't look happy. No, they don't feel like their life is of value. I can get them to know the moment I make contact with them that I can make their life better. So you need some discernment around whether that kind of call is correct or not. When you are melancholic and you don't love yourself, you will not feel that life is of value. And anything that comes along, you know, something for any reason that is able to tempt you to think that it could result in your life being of value, well, you're ready to jump. And because the lower trigram does not understand the other, it doesn't know how to fight its own corner. It doesn't know there's a 38 at the other end of the channel. It doesn't know that to take a risk means struggle. You know, it doesn't know that to make their life worthwhile and of value is a lifelong struggle. It's like the 7 years that it takes for us to internalize this knowledge at the cellular level. It's a struggle. We're mutating ourselves. And part of the struggle is that we cannot let go until we go through the whole process. Otherwise, we don't get the results. There is no guarantee of finding that life is of value. If you carry an individual gate, you have to recognize that the happiness and sadness that comes with the melancholy is not something that you can apply reason to. Because the moment that you do that, you get caught up in the whole process and you're lost. Melancholy is a chemistry, and it doesn't need explaining or justifying. It just needs to be what it is. And then there's the chance of the muse coming along after the melancholy has passed. Melancholy can be deeply creative. But having said that, of course, the 28th gate of risk-taking only operates properly if you're living out your design. You cannot operate properly any other way. And these are people who can be deeply unhappy in their lives. The nature of struggle is that it is all about winning and losing. There are people who are either very good winners and very bad losers and vice versa. And that can lead to them being very uncomfortable with themselves. Now remember the fear of whether life is of value or not. The 28-2 will risk anything to get what they think is the projected victory. They're projecting out, oh, if I win this, life will be great. Then they discover that they have sold their soul to the devil, which for them might be okay, actually, if it was correct. If you have a second line, then that's what it's all about from you. It's just from the outside that the experience can look dodgy. Anybody with this second line has to recognize that they do not have all the details. Therefore, the winning and losing is important to them for their learning process. This is the child that has to learn how to be a good loser and how not to get angry just because they lost. They have to go through that process because the detail is not there and they are just projecting it out. When we are looking at these activations and they appear in your Sun Earths, the lines are the profile lines. And this is important because our profile and our incarnation cross, they give us our purpose in life. Once we know the three views of our design, that is our definition, type, and our authority, we can get a sense of what our purpose is. And that is such an important thing for human beings, to know that the process is of value, to know that our life is of value. The life of the individual isn't really of any value unless they get to express their mutation. And you have to be yourself in order to get that mutation out into the world. And then it's of value. I'm going to shut my window because someone is making a lot of noise out there. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear it. So the grounding is coming from the 27 in the second line, which is called self-sufficiency. This is grounding the individual who is shaking hands with the devil. These are people who can automatically care for themselves. They don't want to be bothered by anyone else. They don't want to be answerable to anyone else either. Mars moved into gate 56 today at 1323. This is the wanderer, the throat gate of stimulation in the collective abstract circuit. This is the expression of the stream that runs from the head gate 64 and the gate of confusion through 47, where sense is made of the experience, into the gate of ideas in gate 11, and finally here in gate 56, the gate of the storyteller, where the experience can be shared with the collective. The moon has been in the logical G center gate 7 since 7:46 this morning. This is the gate of the army, the role of the self. It moves into gate 4, 18:45, and we'll meet Saturn, which is hanging out in gate 63 right now, bringing us the channel of logic, a design of mental ease mixed with doubt. It's a channel that best serves others as an outer authority, rather than for us trying to understand our own life through it. If you wait, and this is a projector channel, so if you wait, there will always be someone who invites you for your clarity. And gate 29 is our last moon gate today at 05:50 tomorrow morning. The moon transits into the sacral gate of saying yes. Gate 29, the abysmal. This is the abstract sensing circuit, the circuit that is concerned with the human experiential way. Experience without expectation. In saying yes to an experience, you are committing your energy to the discovery of something new, something that can be shared with the collective further on down the line, once it has been made sense of. That's the second line in gate 28. Thank you very much for joining me. I will see you for a third line tomorrow. Go gently.